Today's review is sponsored by Georgia, because I'm done watching her for a little while, and I know some of you wanted to see her again, so here she is in all her happy glory. Yeah, she's a good girl.
Watch it, Alan, I'm shooting.
Motel Hell. I'm hungry for some cannibalism. I love cannibal-themed movies. It's one of my favorite subjects in terms of horror. A morbid fascination, I know, but hey, we all have morbid fascinations with something. Motel Hell dives into the concept of unaware cannibalism. The movie takes place at the Motel Hello, but the O in the neon sign burns out and it becomes the Motel Hell. Hey, yeah, everybody points that out. The owner is Farmer Vincent Smith, who runs the hotel with his sister Ida. They also have a farm where they make fritters and other meat byproducts that they're famous for. Seriously, these meat byproducts are talked about all over the county, and the secret ingredient is people!
I just want to be helpful to you, Ida.
Of course, you'll be able to help out a lot.
Vincent and Ida capture people and then bury them in the ground for a while until they ripen. Then when they think they're ready, they kill them, dig them up, cut them up, grind up their meat, and then mix the human meat with the pig meat in order to make Farmer Vincent's fritters.
Well, you know as well as I do, it takes all kinds of critters
to make Farmer Vincent fritters.
Things get complicated when one night Farmer Vincent is out hunting for some long pig. He sets up a trap for this young couple on a motorcycle, they get derailed, and then Vincent takes pity on the young woman, Terry. He brings her home back to his house and tries to nurse her back to health. Her boyfriend, on the other hand, fuck him, he gets buried. So throughout the movie, we have Terry growing a relationship with Vincent, Vincent and Ida making their human meat, and we also have the sheriff lurking about, who just so happens to be Vincent's brother, Bruce. Motel Hell is a horror comedy. It mixes a lot of goofiness with some creepiness, but it doesn't lean too much into horror. The creepy scenes are made to be more fun. It's more the ideas that are scary, not the scenes themselves. I love the idea of people cooking other people and then serving them to customers, with the customers being completely unaware that they're eating human flesh.
Farmer Vincent. Who the hell is that?
He makes the best meats in the whole world. I practically grew up on it.
It's explored to an extent in Motel Hell, but not to the extent that it could have been. We do have some scenes of people eating the long pig, but there could have been more.
It's like I've never really tasted ham before.
It's true. It just ain't possible to go back to regular smoked meats after you tried Vincent's. You can't beat the flavor.
There are movies that explore that idea more than this one. The Untold Story and Sweeney Todd are two that come to mind right off the top of my head. That's not a negative towards Motel Hell. There's still a lot of fun to be had. It's just that I wish there were a few more scenes of people unknowingly eating human flesh. This movie is surprisingly not as gory as I thought it was going to be. I had seen Motel Hell years ago. It has been a long time since I last watched it, but on this rewatch, I thought it was going to be a lot gorier. I remember it being a lot gorier. But again, it's surprisingly not as gory as you would expect a movie about cannibalism to be. There is some good bloodshed in the third act, but I did expect it to be gorier. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's still very good. There's a lot of fun to be had here. Motel Hell focuses more on morbid ideas than actual gore, and those ideas are what make the movie work. Vincent and Ida view people as animals, and their meat is good for their meat byproducts. They capture these people and bury them in the ground up to their necks with burlap sacks over their heads, and they keep them there until they think they are ready. Then they kill them and process them. And the most fucked up thing about this for me is the fact that Vincent cuts his victims' vocal cords so they can't call for help. The noise these people make is the most disturbing part of this movie. They make this gurgling sound, and you can picture in your head the mangled state that their vocal cords are in. It adds to the brutality of the movie without having to be graphic. Sometimes a sound can be more effective than a visual. But Motel Hell is less about being brutal and more about giving you a fun, morbid time. The main source of fun comes from the characters Vincent and Ida.
Vincent, you think in the years to come people will appreciate us for what we're doing here?
You do understand.
Vincent has this friendly old man persona, which makes him both entertaining and eerie. Ida has this childlike nature to her, mixed with this unnerving nature that makes her unpredictable. Both characters come across as friendly, but we don't know when they're going to lash out.
What are you whispering?
She's telling me why the meat tastes so good.
It's because he mixes the pork with
They both have this Annie Wilkes quality to them. Characters like this can be so much fun, friendly and psychotic. The problem is our final girl, Terry. All the characters in this movie have some kind of quirk or quirks that make them entertaining to watch. Sheriff Bruce, for example, he develops this obsession with Terry, which makes him off-putting and makes us like the Cannibals more, which is weird but fun.
Oh, you're sick.
Not sick.
Well, what about us? I'm madly in love with you.
All of the side characters are quirky, or at the very least they end up getting captured and have their vocal cords cut, which makes us concerned for them. Terry comes across as kinda bland.
Well, you're up bright and early today.
I'm getting used to life on the farm, I guess. And you?
Well, today's my day for planting alfalfa.
The only time she gets interesting is closer to the end of the movie when she starts falling in love with Vincent. This gives her a quirk, and it gives us a reason to be worried for her. She's falling in love with a cannibal. But for the majority of the movie, she's dull. She's only there to give us a protagonist to root for and be a damsel in distress. And we end up gravitating more towards the villains. At least they're fun to watch. There's nothing wrong with having fun villains in your horror movie, and there's nothing wrong with having fun watching your villains in a horror movie. I just wish we had a more interesting final girl to root for. My favorite thing about Motel Hell is how it's not afraid to get weird. There's a lot of weird, entertaining moments in this movie. How Vincent and Ida treat their human cattle, the scene where Sheriff Bruce takes Terry to go watch a drive-in movie, and they end up breaking up a meeting at Makeout Point.
Come on, move that board there. Let's move it. Let's go. Move
so many enjoyably goofy moments, but the one that stands out to me is when this kinky couple rents a room at the hotel. It's odd in the best way.
Out there right now.
Edie, where's my jelly?
Hey, that's how I was conceived. And what makes it even funnier is that they think Vincent and Ida are into the same bedroom activities. So when they show up in the room with ropes and stuff, they think that they're there just to join in the fun.
You put your hands behind your back, please?
Sure, that's right. Hey, listen, you got any pigs around here?
Oh, nitrous oxide, Sookie.
I appreciate when movies acknowledge the kinkier side of things, and don't apologize for it. Motel Hell has a good escalation of wacky scenes. Things get crazier and crazier as the movie goes on. There are things in this movie that don't make a lot of sense, convoluted ways that the villains do things, people being stupider than any normal human being would be.
Will you look at those stupid cows?
I don't believe this.
Something's weird. They look fake.
Is this some kind of a joke?
But that's okay in a movie like Motel Hell because it's a horror comedy. It's not taking itself seriously at all. It's just trying to be fun and goofy. The third act is where the loony really comes into play. The people who are buried out in the secret human garden manage to escape, and it becomes this zombie movie-esque moment.
Come on, my beauties. That's right.
We also get a chainsaw fight scene, creating the right amount of wacky without getting too cartoony. I'm gonna admit, Motel Hell is not one of my favorite cannibal movies. It wouldn't make my top 10 cannibal flicks, but this is a popular movie amongst horror and grindhouse fans. And I get it. It's an entertaining movie with entertaining characters and fun cannibalism. If you were to say that this was one of your favorite 80s horror movies, I completely understand why. And with that, let's get to the grindhouse rankings. We've got a body count of 6, which is lower than I thought it would be, but not in a bad way. This is not counting body parts that we see cut up in the background. The kills consist of neck breaking, some off-screen kills, and death by chainsaw. It manages to reach the cannibal requirements with flesh eating and a couple morbid moments. There is some nudity here with some women's breasts and a scene of a fully naked man and woman running around in the dark. This movie is surprisingly less gory than people would think, but I think that's a good thing. It's one of the more accessible cannibal flicks for those new to the genre. The movie focuses on morbid ideas, which makes it disturbing without being graphic. The villains are fun. Vincent and Ida steal the whole show. Terry is a pretty bland final girl. I wish she was given more personality. I do wish this movie focused more on the unknowing public eating human flesh. The unaware cannibal is an idea that I find messed up in the best way, but that's a personal thing for me. I'm giving this a 3.9 out of 5. It may not be my favorite cannibal movie, but I get why people love it. As always, I want to thank everyone for continuing to watch and support this channel. Please leave a comment down below. Let me know some of your favorite comedic cannibal movies. I know there aren't too many of them out there, but hey, let me know of some in the comments. This is the Maniac and Georgia, here to remind you that the Grindhouse will never die. Yeah, I know, I'm going to be done watching her for a few weeks, but don't worry, she will be in future videos.